with all the gloom and doom, no matter how much more that comes to, I don't care how strong it gets or for how much longer we keep hearing so much, because it's been around forever. It's just amplified because of media today, right? We got phone, we got all this stuff. It's always been around. It's just, it's stronger than ever because of that. And that literally is part of what's creating the sense of the end of the world's coming, maybe, or whatever, all these things. It's literally part of what's creating it. I would just say to deepen your connection with your observer, your presence within is so critical right now, but also to evolve your gifts and to finally just do I would say do your frickin' purpose, finally, do your real work in the world, do your soul purpose. Because if you want to lead the way in the light and really help people to experience the radiance of who they are and really prosper during these times, that's where it's at, because it's a huge opportunity. The people that are willing to go deeper and evolve their consciousness and finally do their thing, they're going to prosper more than ever before and easier than ever before.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in our amazing world. Welcome for today's Shining the Light conversation, where again I have the honor of talking to a very special guest, and I'm really interested in having a conversation today all about energy. And Daniel, who's joining us, his journey with energy scanning, which is very interesting. So welcome, Daniel. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you. Let's just start. I've got numerous questions for you, but I want to get to know about you. So tell us about you and your journey and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah. I was a shy kid, had a lot of energy inside me I didn't know what to do with. And I was called a wallflower, invisible, and all that stuff when I was in high school and school for the most part. And I was anxious, I was depressed because I didn't know how to express myself. To this day, when I'm like trying to start talking, like right now, I feel awkward, right? I don't know where to get started. But then once I get into the flow, then it's easy. Oh, you're an extrovert. You're like this, you're like that, right? Once I get flowing, it's really cool. But yeah, it was always a challenge because I really felt like what I was being shown in the world was like illusion all the time. Like I didn't understand. There's Santa Claus. I'm like, no, there isn't. Like from a very young age, I'm like, oh, there's life's like this or that. And then I would question it. And then I would be told, why do you argue? Why don't you just go along with everything? Like, and so just even asking questions or even just saying, I don't believe that's true. That was always a threatening thing to like family members, right? Like threatening, why do you argue? But yeah, I was just very shy and awkward most of that time. And yeah, I wasn't really succeeding in school because I didn't care about school. I was like, there's something else I'm supposed to be doing. And I really did have this sense that I had something to do with connecting with God and spirit or something, but I had no idea what it was when I was going through school. So I became very depressed. I saw a psychiatrist. He asked me what was going on with me. I said, I can move objects. I can blow things up, which I hadn't done any of that stuff yet, but I felt like I could. And I got all these diagnoses and whatnot. But long story short, because we have limited time today, is I started delving into creative writing, and then I did psychology in college to try to figure myself out and other people out because I was fascinated with this experience here. And then I did sales. I did outside copier sales and did hundreds of cold calls a week to try to get out of my bubble, to try to share my enthusiasm in a way that would land, in the world. And people love my enthusiasm. I just got hired on and stayed on for a good 2.5 years, I think it was. And I wasn't a great salesman though there because I didn't care about copiers. I just wanted to share enthusiasm. I went back to school, and I was criticized by the faculty there because I asked too many questions, and I was also too quiet, right? What do you know? and they had other ideas. But anyway, they held me back a year from going out and doing my what they call an externship. It's like an internship, it's the same thing. But that all people would flock to me though to know my intuitive insights on cases. They would come to me like, what do you think of this? And I'll be like, why are you coming to me? You're one of the top students. oh, because some people just know things. And that's where it got started, is things like that, and making bets with people when I was younger and whatnot. I just knew there's something going on, but I wouldn't have thought of intuitive a psychic, because that stuff's not talked about, right, in our in the past, especially. So eventually, long story short, I got into metaphysics after I got out of grad school. There's other stories I could tell, but anyway, I got online in 2006. I started after doing metaphysics and hypnosis training and having a private practice. And as I was awakening, I just became very fluid with reality. I felt like I could just make things happen. I have a cut on my finger, to just flip my hand over and go away. I just like the magic sphere of things. And then I call people by their birth names. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry." They'd be like, "No, that is my name. How did you know that?" Like, they would start happening in these different type of ways. And anyway, so I honed this ability with my intuitive psychic abilities by asking my guides for a way to harness them. And then I got this energy scan technique thing where I'm able to tune into people's energy fields in a way that I stay grounded and connected and not leave my body. And then be able to accurately understand what's going on for people. I've had a healer school for years where we're teaching energy scanning, and then I've done a lot of intuitive business coaching too. I have a popular podcast, Spiritual Rockstar, and all this stuff. But yeah, right now I'm like back on the trail. Like they're like, okay, it's time to reach a lot of people with energy scanning, doing the energy scanning, training people in energy scanning and energy scan healing too. And yeah, without taking too much time, that's been all part of my path.
Wow, and thank you for sharing that. And like I said, you've lived a very interesting life. Excuse me, and a wonderful journey. You're actually an inspiration, Daniel, and I just like to really just honor you. And thank you for coming to share your journey and your gifts with Sacred You and the world in such. And you've been talking a little bit about energy scanning. So can you tell us more about the actual technique? What is the energy scanning technique, and what really was it? Just something that happened as you're talking about, or was there a pivotal point in your life where it was really, yes, this is what I need to do?
Yeah. So was I was waking up, I was having these experiences of popping into people's energy fields too. I was at a conference, and I had not gotten a lot of sleep the night before because the fire alarm went off the night before, like all these synchronicities, right? So I was so tired, and I was already opening up a lot. So I got so open that when somebody was speaking on the mic, I literally had the experience of popping right into their energy field and feeling like I was in their body and seeing through their eyes. Like, it was so strong. And so these sorts of things were going on. And then I was just like, but I was so ungrounded. And so I wanted to get grounded and be able to harness this ability. And then I asked my guides, like, how do I do that? After I had another experience where I was asked to put my third eye on a crystal skull at like a metaphysical type of fear type of thing. And I did that, and I had this experience of knowing everything, and yet I was grounded, but I had no believability in it, so it went away right away, that experience. Like within 10 seconds or less. I was like, I knew everything, I connected to everything, and it's hard to explain unless you've had some kind of experience like this, but it just all went away because I'm like, this isn't real. What is this? This is crazy. Or something like that. And it all just shut down. But I was like, there's something to this, can help me to access these gifts I have and ground them finally. And then I got this energy scan technique, which is very simple. It's not a complicated technique really, but it's one of those things. It's all about trusting. You have to trust. So one of the basic techniques is, when you're with somebody and you get a sense of anything about them, just go with it and keep making it up, that what you believe is true about them, and you'll probably be right on. I feel like this, I feel like that, I feel like this about you, or I sense I know this about you. But yeah, there's all these little things that I've developed as part of the energy scan technique, where it's really simple, but it's a way that of tuning in that helps you to go in a bit deeper, or a lot deeper for some people than what they've been accustomed to as intuitives. And sometimes, yeah, even as intuitives and psychics, sometimes it can take people to another level of being able to read people's energies because of the technique itself. But it's a very simple thing.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Maybe before we finish, if you wish to demonstrate it, you're more than welcome. But can you tell us, I'm sure in today's world, we have a lot of skeptics about all sorts of things and stuff. What, in your experience, what are the most common misconceptions people might have, misunderstandings that people have about energy scanning, and how do you address that?
Because of the people I serve, I don't run into a lot of that. But yeah, in terms of otherwise, yeah, I've been called a scammer or whatever. Like a lot of people in this kind of work get called those type of names. But yeah, I just think that they don't, some people may not believe that you're picking up on any particular thing. If I've met them, maybe they think it's because I heard their voice or I've looked at their face or something, or some alternate explanations of why I might be able to pick up on what I can. But what it really comes down to is people are afraid that this is actually real. You have people that have gone out there, like that magician who died. His name was Randy, right? And then you have Chris Angel doing the same thing. They're saying, we'll put down $1 million. We can disprove. We know it's BS. So we should know, right? Because of what we do, it's all a bunch of nonsense. And I'm like, no, it ain't, because listen, just the minute they find a psychic gets one thing wrong or a few things wrong, they just say they're no good, right? Oh, see, they got it wrong. They're no good. But the truth is, if someone said a baseball player is no good because they hit 30%, gets hits 30% of the time or whatever, the analogy, oh, they're no good. You only get 30%. You're not a baseball player. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, we have to be dead on perfect every time or we're no good. The truth is, and people don't understand, like, they don't believe like you could actually do that. They believe there's no way we have access to all intelligence.
Okay.
There's no way that's possible. And it's not only possible, it's completely the reality. But we just haven't been taught that. So when you have not been taught that and you haven't been made aware of that, you don't believe it's true because you haven't experienced any of that yet. But I've taken people all the way from that already are intuitive to people that are a little bit skeptical but do have some intuition. And no matter how stuck they think they are with it, most of them anyway, they can break through it. And people that already know they have intuition always can do it. Like, they always can do the training really well. I have very few people that end the training and, yeah, I give up. There's no way I can do this. Because I've had some people, even the stubborn ones, like, it takes years for them to develop sometimes. But the average person, like, in 2 days, yeah, I'm doing it. They don't have confidence yet, but they're doing it already. That's 95% of the people. So yeah, I don't know. I just roll in with your questions or whatever comes through.
And that's fine, because that's what it's all meant to be, because it's coming from the heart and things like that, which is wonderful. So you do energy scanning, and do you do this privately, like one-on-one, and you also teach energy scan?
Yeah, I do energy scans. A lot of them I do for free. I do have a paid one on my website and all that, but I do quite a few for free because I don't want to go around trying to sell energy scans all the time. I want to go out and provide the service. And then it's a natural entry point for people to want to work with you because they're like, oh, I'm noticing this about you. And I notice this energy is going on. I see that you've been, feeling low. You've felt lonely for lifetimes or whatever it is. So your throat chakra has got persecution energy around it. And I see whatever it is that I'm picking up on, then as a healer, I can clear those things. Or if I was coaching, maybe I'm using coaching techniques to clear it. You could even do it that way. But most people of course, want to do healing, energy healing when they learn it. But like I can do energy scan healing then to clear that energy up. And then whatever it is that they want to experience an increase in their life, whether it's just to feel better or they want to experience manifesting certain things, which is usually both, you can help facilitate that through this work. But as a practitioner, I'm not super active all the time now as like full bore because I'm busy trying to teach more, but I still do some scannings and I'll send people clearings and all that, especially people that are going through the trainings. I do more so for them than just the general public, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so my whole thing is to get it in more people's hands because it's like almost criminal to me in a way that the people that can have access to this don't. That shouldn't be. You should be able to use these abilities because they can be a big game changer in a lot of ways. People, you throw that word around a lot, but it really is. It really can change your whole experience of life, number one. Number two, you can help your clients a lot more. And number three, it's just fun and cool. Like, just to give you three. So there's a lot of good in it.
I'm sure there is. And I'm sure you'd have some very interesting moments and experiences and stuff with it all, and being able to just energy scanning, not just of people, but of animals and nature and everything else. It would be very incredible and something that I believe everyone can do, as you said, but you've just got to be in touch with it. So what advice would you give to someone who's just starting to explore their intuitive side, their intuitive gifts, and even going into scanning, energy scanning?
Yeah, the number one thing is just to really trust that you do have the gifts that you sense that you have. Oh, I sense I do have some intuition. Okay, lean into that, trust it. You don't If you don't trust something, it's not going to increase in your experience. So the first thing is to lean into it. One of the other things is, if you do know you're intuitive, in what ways does your intuition come to you? Can be helpful to know like what type of intuition you tend to gravitate towards the most. Some people get images come to them, right? More of a clairvoyant. Some people get feelings, clairsentient. Some people, those are some of the big ones. The other big one is claircognizant, where people get a sense of knowing something. Clairaudient, but a lot of people are clairaudient. They have no clue. They're like, just think it's their thoughts, right? Oh, I don't know. I just get a thought. I just guess I know stuff. But usually people either think they know it, see it, or feel it. The ones people identify usually with the most. But knowing what your more dominant way of receiving is intuitively can be helpful, because if you focus more on that one, you'll do better and better. Whereas historically, people used to really be crazy about becoming clairvoyant. And I always tell people, it doesn't matter if you're clairvoyant. Focus on the way you do get your signals first, however that comes to you. And where do you pick up on it the most? In your heart, in your gut, all that usual kind of stuff, if you're a feeler especially. And where do you sense the messages? But yeah, just to practice is the key. Practice your intuition every day. Like, I try to be like, okay, I'm going to do almost everything from guidance, right? But if we're honest, none of us do everything from guidance. But basically, like with that kind of attitude, I'm doing everything for my guidance. I don't move 1 inch. It's right. Have a little bit more of that kind of attitude about life, and you'll greatly increase your intuitiveness. And I'll say one last thing is that people that go through the energy scan training that I do, I will say this, that they start to be very intuitive and more psychic just on the regular, because they're already primed the pump. And that's a very amazing thing to experience.
Absolutely. Thank you. And I agree. And I love it how you just say, just practice every day and keep going, keep asking for that guidance, or waiting for the guidance to do every single thing. Gets you much more in touch with your intuitive side. So thank you for sharing that. Now, I do just want to bring in a couple of people. We do have people watching us, so welcome. I'm here having a chat with Daniel about energy scanning, and probably even more, and so much more, which I want to go into now. But if everyone who's watching, if you've got any comments, any questions, please put them in the comments below. And we will be getting Daniel's links in the comments very soon. Wait around for that. And Daniel, can we go on with your journey as well? Because you talked about being an energy scanner and helping other people to develop that gift as well. But you're also an author as well as a podcast host. But tell us more about your book. Wake up, live this life you love, and living in abundance. What's the key message? What's the purpose of that book?
It's just a whole bunch of inspiring stories for people to recognize when you trust and you follow the abundant energy, basically. And if I were to sum it all up, that things work out. There's a story in there from somebody who decided they were going to just travel the country for a year, but they had no idea how it all work out, but they just decided, right? And then because they trusted enough, it all worked out. Like the ways to pay for it or whatever, all the things, it all came together. And so there's a number of stories like that. There's quite a varied amount of stories in there, but they're inspiring to help you to trust there is an abundance that flows through you and you can trust it and to start doing that. My story in there is more about my experience with depression and moving through that. And for me, it's been about really trusting that that ultimately that my way of being, the being present and doing things from a place of connection and lightness and love and trusting that is the way for me. And I feel like I've been learning that even in recent years to some degree. You continue to learn that, like you continue to be reminded when if you get a little off course. Okay, I got a little bit sideways in that moment there, or use too much willpower because I've got a strong willpower. But I find like my life is like 10x better when you just let everything just flow and you just give tremendous presence to everything that you want to love in your life. And then it's an action. Everybody's like, oh, that sounds passive. No, but you're bringing tremendous love, and there's tremendous action and tremendous love. So I've had to learn that, and because when I try to do it the other way, it gets super strategic. More willpower, do it this way, do it that way. Yeah, if it works out, it's really brief and then everything crashes down. So if other people relate to that list, that's what I've found. You can let it be easier.
Yeah, but that's the challenge. That is the challenge. I think we now have a pandemic of human doings rather than being human beings. So how do you have any tips or techniques, any others that you practice yourself on really trusting, on really letting go and just being in amongst this crazy world where I'm sure I'm not the only one could go 24/7 and still have things to do?
Yeah.
How do you really just let go and be?
Yeah. My number one is meditation, right? Nothing fancy, but meditation. And for me, stillness meditation, really just connecting. For me, it's the stillness within. I know some people follow the breath and everything, but for me, I learned it to just focus on the space within. And so that's my practice when like they say, true meditation. So that's what I do. I just focus on that true stillness within and do it as a practice every single day. And often during the week, I'm meditating 3 times during the day. Now, I'm not like a deep, like okay, I need an hour or two every time. They're usually, it could be 10 minutes, 5 minutes sometimes, or 20 minutes or longer, but they're not always long. But if you're in the practice of meditating and you do take periods to really deepen that meditation, go on a meditation retreat or something like that, oh, that's huge, can be hugely liberating. You do need to clear out some of your patterns for some people. If you do that on top of doing a lot of meditation, that's going to really free you up. But a lot of people break through just by doing a consistent meditation and maybe some deeper rounds, deeper retreats of meditation really can do wonders to get you more into your observer. Can you just observe yourself and take yourself more lightly? Like I just told my wife today, it says, I'm going to experience every challenge in my life from a place of peace and lightness as my intention. Now, I may not succeed every time, but it's going to be my intention because I don't think we need to get all worked up. The whole world's like, get angry, let's go, let's do this. Anger has a place. We don't need to lay it on stronger. Like we don't need to amplify anger. We need to amplify peace, love, and lightness. And anyway, so I don't even know what your question was anymore, right? The usual, I never remember, but yeah, that's what comes to mind.
And that's perfect. That's perfect for the question, which was all about how do you let go?
Yeah, totally.
And I agree. Meditation is definitely a key. I know some people avoid it because it's not doing. It's just allowing itself to be. And in that, there's an avoidance thing too. Sometimes I feel that we avoid our greater selves and therefore avoid meditation or anything to do with connecting with our greater selves. Can I ask you, Daniel, before we finish up, 2 things? First of all, do you have your book with you?
Oh, that's a great point. Let me see. Yeah, I do. Here it is.
Okay.
The beautiful cover, isn't it? It's a nice cover. I don't make any money from people if they look it up online and buy it, by the way. I have copies that I sell occasionally, but yeah, it's a great book. I guarantee if anybody that gets it will feel more inspired and will feel really good about reading the book. And yeah, there's what Dr. Wayne Dyer, Anthony Robbins and whatnot, and Michael Beckwith. But honestly, I think the best stories in there are from everybody else. No offense to those people because they're great, but yeah, the best stories are from the so-called common person that's in that book. But yeah, that's the book.
Good. Thank you. And we'll be putting the links. Is it available on your website or through Amazon and everything else?
Honestly, I don't sell it on my website too much, so I don't think we actually have it set up there because then I have to ship it and everything. So yeah, the best place to get it probably is through Amazon.
Okay, good. We will put the links in for everyone to grab a copy of it. And before we wrap up, Daniel, if we look ahead with everything that's going on in our world, what inspirations do you have for the community in general, the broader spiritual community?
I feel that we want to just realize we are in a window of opportunity that is really incredible right now. And I feel that, yeah, everybody that's willing to really evolve their consciousness, I want to say, right now this is the time to do it. With all the gloom and doom, no matter how much more that comes to, I don't care how strong it gets or for how much longer we keep hearing so much, because it's been around forever. It's just amplified because of media today, right? We got phone, we got all this stuff. It's always been around. It's stronger than ever because of that. And that literally is part of what's creating this sense of the end of the world's coming, maybe, or whatever, all these things. It's literally part of what's creating it. I would just say to deepen your connection with your observer, your presence within is so critical right now, but also to evolve your gifts and to finally just do I want to say, do your freaking purpose, finally, do your real work in the world, do your soul purpose. Because if you want to lead the way in the light and really help people to experience the radiance of who they are and really prosper during these times, that's where it's at, because it's a huge opportunity. The people that are willing to go deeper and evolve their consciousness and finally do their thing, they're going to prosper more than ever before and easier than ever before. But the people that are going with all the programs, yes, they're going to suffer maybe more than ever before, increasingly. So, because it was given to me over a decade ago, probably 15, 20 years ago, something like that this was going to happen, that we're going to see this divide where things get more expanded for some and darker for others. So we have a real choice to make, and so don't get caught up, and the other thing, don't do the spiritual bypass. It doesn't matter, we'll all be on the other side, and does this reality even matter? It does, trust me. I've been through a phase like that before, and I'm telling you, it matters. Even if it doesn't, how much fun is that? That ain't any fun. Why don't you have some fun and mix it up with life? Yeah.
All right, thank you. And I think exactly what you just said, have fun, no matter what. I really believe if we can just have fun with life, see the lighter part of it, we're all too serious. And this is living from my experience too. I know I'm very much a little bit or a lot on the too serious side of things. But life changes when we just have fun with it. Life is meant to be enjoyed. Daniel, before we wrap up now, is there any other questions that I could have asked you? And how?
100 at least. 100 other questions easily, Ray. But you did great. No, I thought those questions were fantastic, as I had a lot of fun.
Oh, good. Thank you. Thank you for that. Like I said, please do come. Last minute or so, would you like to just show us some energy scanning that you can do? Because I'm assuming, because I feel it, I feel energy, even though we're on the internet and on Zoom and on technology, I feel other people's energies when they're on the other side of the world.
Right.
So how do you go about doing energy scanning?
Yeah. Do you want me to download a couple of things for you that I see in your energy, or how do we want to do it?
If you wish, you're more than welcome to.
Okay. So yeah, basically, there's a whole deep dive kind of way we do it with the full technique. But on demonstrations, I usually just relaxed and just do a few things to tap in. Not that I don't need to. I could just start tell you all about Sophia, but I just like to do it this way. So I'll just take a moment here and see what wants to be shared. Yeah, I think I just want to presence more what you already said. You do have a very strong feeling intuition, and I also get that, and that there's more for you maybe to do with that. I think you gently, yeah. I think you're both a sense of, I get a sense of you as a gentle guide, but also get out the nunchucks at the same time, so to speak. So you got both things going on, and that's fun. And then, but yeah, I get that you can really move energy pretty easily from your feeling connection. So it's, oh, we just needs to go this. It's almost, yeah, like you can direct and guide energy deeply from your connection. So yeah, I don't know all what you do with your work, but that's what I sense with you. And yeah, I slow down because it's like there's so much. I just try to explain what I'm seeing and sensing. And but yeah, you're really spot on with your guidance, and you could really like you can explain like where you see things going for people pretty accurately or really accurately. So yeah, I'm noticing that. Let me tune into one more thing for you. Okay, down in the lower chakras is more where there's some of the things that want to be cleared more and more, even though I'm sure they've been cleared to some degree, is there is a sense of, when I go to the root, there's some sense of sadness for the lack of love, the lack of justice, I want to say. It's the word that comes to mind. It could be around the desecration of the earth, in fact. I hear something about that. And I feel a lot of heavy sadness about that. And but you just keep plugging along, and I just keep doing my thing to help. And but yeah, I feel that there. And then the sacral chakra is tight, the power center is tight. There's tight energy there. And I also see it the other way. I do see some, it's not just open or closed, but I see some expanded energy there too with the sacral, for example. But it's like, is anybody really gonna really listen to me now? Like at a bigger level, not on a one-to-one only, but like on a bigger, are they really gonna finally listen? Period. And are they gonna listen to me? So it's almost like a Moses complex feeling. It's, are they gonna listen to me? Because so your funny part is they totally should listen to me. They totally shouldn't. Who would want to listen to me? That's what I'm hearing in your energy. So somewhere in your energy. So it's funny, but it's just you've got a good sense of humility is part of it, is a portion of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Very much appreciated. Thank you for that. And I said, thank you ever so much for coming and being on our show today on Shining the Light. And it's been wonderful to have a conversation with you. And I really do hope that we get to have another conversation again sometime very soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.